Hi friends, welcome back to Give It a Go Garden. This is the channel where I take you along on my gardening adventures, some successful, some not so much, but we're always just giving it a go. So today is the end of summer garden tour. So I'm gonna go around the garden and just show you what it looks like at the end of summer. It's definitely starting to get a little bit colder. You can kind of feel that fall is in the air, and there's definitely some things that I want to transition into the fall. Some people don't think past spring you can plant. Nay, you can plant throughout, and actually fall is a great time to move plants. They're kind of going into a dormancy period, so I'll definitely be doing some of that before the snow hits. Before I change anything, I wanted to walk you around, kind of show you, walk you around, show you how the garden performed over the summer, some things that worked, some things that, will change, and hope you like it. So a bit of a controversial statement over here. I'm considering taking out the lilac bushes. They've been a bit of a pain in the butt to take care of. This guy has so much powdery mildew on it. Oh, that's the neighbor's pup. Wants to be in the video apparently. But as I was saying, I've been spraying it with a mildew resistant, and it's just nothing. So I'm gonna let it lose its leaves for the winter. I'm gonna see how it does in the spring, but if I start dealing with this again, I might just pull it. And then this guy, I don't know, it just seems stressed, and it's all these different colors, and it got huge. You can see where we trimmed, there's already so much little new growth coming. Hopefully that means that there's some new buds forming. So again, I'll let it lose its leaves for the winter, see what comes back in the spring, and then call it. But I haven't loved them, but I do love the shade it provides, so we'll see. And then in between the lilacs, the black-eyed Susans are doing great. Our geraniums have taken, which is awesome. They should look really good next year. And I may play around with some of the back plants. I'm actually not even super familiar what they are. I've totally forgotten, but they haven't really done anything. And this guy looks like he's been a snack before. I might play around with this area before winter comes, just to transplant some of the hostas back here. We have some in the front that I think would do well in the shade. But if I take the lilacs, who knows? Our hydrangea has put on some height. Our sun patients have done not as well as I would have hoped. Last year they were way more prolific, and I even had other orange ones that were just spilling over. Our petunias, again, it's getting eaten by something. And then our zinnia didn't really work either. I left this one to show you guys from the previous episode where I transplanted them. Don't do it, just direct seed. So I don't think I'll do this combination of plants again. I might try the sun patients one more time, but might move some things around. And unfortunately, if we pan up to our roses, I think they're getting eaten pretty bad by spider mites. You can kind of see the damage. I haven't treated this at all. Look at that. That's net good. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know if I should just cut it back. I don't know if I should try and just spray it. I think it's a lot. I'm gonna have to do some research. Maybe the winter will just kill them off. We'll see. But on the positive, the hydrangea looks good. The hydrangea's put on some growth, so hopefully some good news. Okay. So this area of the garden has been actually one of the more challenging areas of the garden. I, for the life of me, could not get anything to grow along here. I tried petunias, so definitely our biggest fail of the season thus far. I tried zinnias. You might remember in a previous video, I planted a bunch. So our zinnias we transplanted, damn, they did not survive. Good to know, don't transplant zinnias, just simply grow them from seed, but I replaced them with these asters, which these guys I have to deadhead. And I'm told they're supposed to put on some new blooms, but we'll see. The roses though have been so beautiful, and like, look at this, already putting up so many new buds. So that's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 new roses we're gonna get. Hopefully it comes out before the snow or the cold. Really good success with the Sun Patience once I transplanted the other two. They've really kind of taken off. So yeah, a lot of trial and error. I'm also considering moving the hydrangea to another part of the garden, just because talking to people and doing some research, I think the reason why it's not blooming on like the top is because it gets too hot. And there's definitely some other sun-loving plants that I think would thrive, but that's a spring project. I'll leave it for the fall and winter. But overall, I think it's, you know, I've put a lot of work into this specific area, and I think it looks good. So I was definitely hoping for a better after shot here. The hosta, per usual, crushing it. Looks really good. But unfortunately, our dahlia here, I just don't think it gets enough sun. We have so many buds that are just been in this bud stage for some time. I think it's been a combination of it being a bit of a cooler time, not getting enough sun, and maybe I planted it too late, but I don't anticipate any blooms, which is such a shame because I was really, really excited to see what the blooms looked like. This dahlia is doing great, but to be honest, I've been a little bit mad at the dahlia, so I have not been grooming it as much as I should be. Like, I should probably pull this guy off and kind of deadhead a couple others, just to give it a bit more energy. But it's been a nice little pop of color and really complemented the yellow bush on the side. This dahlia, I mean, as you saw, it got moldy early on, and it just kind of really needed some time to rebound. What I should have done is I should have cut it all the way back, because I think it was fighting with kind of like all this old growth. But there are a few little buds like that it's trying to send up. I just don't think there's enough summer left for it to bloom. I've talked about the milkweeds before. I don't really know what to do with them, so I'm just leaving them. And our sedum that we planted recently has taken, and it's starting to color up. So I'm excited to see how this is going to look in the fall. But yeah, overall, bleh. So on this side of the garden, Nico refuses to be on camera, apparently. I mean, I've shown this kind of previously, but really, really happy with how this planter box has performed. I'm definitely anticipating that the Sun Patience will be the first to go once it gets a bit cold, but curious how these vinca vines are gonna do. They've been just such a fun accent in the garden. I recently got a mum, which I haven't ever planted before. I've heard you need to deadhead them quite a bit, so see how it does. And our sweet potato vine has just crushed it. It looks so good once we moved the other plants kind of out of its way. It's really taken off, and I think I'm gonna do that again. These two planters are just so sweet, just kind of with some leftover plants, but really doing well. But I'm really, really happy with how this little nook has turned out. So I think I've talked about this before, how this is my favorite planter box. And it still rings true. It's so pretty. I'll definitely go in and try to deadhead off some of these, I think they're daisies, but I can double check. But so sweet. I think like just the combination of plants and the way that they've grown, this has been my favorite planter to look at. And I'm definitely gonna try and repeat exactly the same. I am curious if I can overwinter these guys. It's kind of like a ground covering, but more of like almost like a coniferous ground covering. I'm gonna try. I think, I mean, hey, why not, right? I mean, hello, everything looks so good. It's all blooming. Oh, except for the asters. You suck. so good. Oh my gosh. I know I showed this recently in another video, but I think it warrants showing again. So the sweet potato vines, they're starting to cascade over, which is good, but they're also starting to just completely swallow the petunias. If you can remember, those were the only things that were growing at one point. Our marigolds are budding and look awesome. They have so many blooms or buds. I'm concerned they won't bloom fast enough. I'm hoping. Our calendulas, they look so cool. I'm such a huge fan. I think they're so pretty, and there's like some interesting variety, which is fun. Our asters are the only ones that haven't done anything, but they are getting bigger. So maybe they just need like cooler periods. Our zinnias are so beautiful, but I definitely planted them too close, and they are also getting a little bit of the powdery mildew. I've sprayed them, but no luck. But it hasn't affected the blooms at all. And you guys, when I tell you I have been cutting from these flowers non-stop, this has been so lovely and so fun. I'm 100,000 billion% doing it again. And finally, we have some Cosmo blooms. Yay! They're huge, like really big. And the way that it's all intertwined together, definitely a beautiful end of summer show. I think this is the biggest kind of growth we'll see. I think it's gonna start petering off, but just so fun. And to think, this time last year it was just cement. Crazy, I love it. Okay, so the impatiens win. They have absolutely smothered out the petunias. They're pretty much touching the ground, which is awesome. If we go to the other side, we still do have the Hakone grass, but they're starting to get swallowed. And then we still have this beautiful begonia, which is so pretty. I think it's the only place that kind of gets the most light. The begonia that's over here, it's kind of getting too shaded. I am gonna try and winter over the begonias. Like, this is just so pretty. I love how there's kind of like a purple pink outer and then just really beautiful blooms. Really happy with how that looks. And yeah, I don't think I'm gonna do as many impatiens though. They don't need much, but man, it looks cool. So there you have it, our summer garden tour. We're definitely losing the light. Pretty much a sure sign that summer is over. It's getting darker a lot faster now. But yeah, I think everything looks so good. There's definitely spots that I'm going to want to tweak and change, but it's been a really fun summer, just seeing everything blooming. But I would love to know what you guys think. What can I maybe change for next year? In the winter, I will be doing all my planning, so good to know any ideas. And super curious what's going to happen in the fall as soon as we get some of those colder temperatures. Yeah, I think it looks good though. And aside from the dahlias, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found it fun to just see how the summer garden looks. And I also just want you guys to see how it's doing, because I've taken you along all garden season. So if you haven't already, I hope you like and subscribe. But at any event, I just hope that this encourages you to get out there and just give it a go. All right, see you in the next one. Bye.